Isn't this an interesting place to set yourself up
Yeah.
and just park in the middle of the road and we'll load everything into the back of the car?
Yeah, on the crest of a hill.
On the crest of a hill. Yes, on the crest of a hill. Isn't that fabulous? Welcome to Hypnosis in Action. I am Stephen Anderson. I am the Outback Hypnotist, and this is actually the school my daughter went to. And we're going Smarty trekking. I have with me today possibly the most famous person I've had in the car so far.
Oh!
Yes! And we'll discuss that later. I have Jamison Sky. Now, that's a very interesting name. Is there a story to that?
There is no... no, there is no story.
No story?
There's no story.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't name you after someone?
Not after the alcohol, no.
Oh,
And
I didn't even think of the alcohol.
No, I get called Jamie, so...
Yes.
Yeah, so Jamie Sky.
Okay. And there I was thinking that was going to be a big part of the beginning of our show, and I thought there had to be a great big story to it.
There's no story to it, no.
But okay, there must be something, because you're the only one I've ever met. Have you ever met another Jamison?
No, and it's interesting that in Google and things like that, there's no Jamison Sky. I'm the only Jamison Sky.
And there's no story to it?
There's no story to it. And I'm the only one.
And you're the only one?
Yeah.
Cool.
Isn't that really, that's really cool?
That. And I hope you've got your domain. Well, I suppose you don't even need to take your domains.
I don't, because it's my own name.
Yeah.
So, but if I want to set up a new email account, I can use Jamison Sky. Jamison Sky Gmail or Hotmail, because there's no Jamison Sky. I'm the only Jamison Sky. But I've recently got married, so I'm not going to be Jamison Sky for too much longer. Like, I'm going to be taking the other name, so I'm holding on to Jamison Sky as long as I can.
What's the other name?
Underwood.
Jamison Underwood.
Yeah, Jamie Underwood.
Can I be really cheeky?
Yeah.
Hold on to Jamison Sky.
I
It
know.
sounds so much cooler.
It's a very cool name.
It is. Yes. So there must be a bit of a story there to the fact that you've just got married.
I just got married.
And not too long ago.
No,
that would have been
3 weeks ago. I got married 3 weeks ago.
You got married 3 weeks ago.
Oh, it was, everything was ready, everything was set. And then 3 hours before the wedding, where we're going to have the wedding and the reception at the one place, they cancelled on us.
The reception cancelled on you? The
venue.
The venue.
3 hours before the wedding. So I had like this complete and utter meltdown, but I had to find another place, and all the guests were trying to find places for us. And yeah, it was an hour and a half before we had to leave to go to the place that I secured another location, which was better than the one they originally had. It cost me a lot of money though, but it was worth it. It was worth it. But yeah, it wasn't. And then my wife fell down the stairs at the wedding before the wedding even started. Tripped down the stairs, so she was injured. And it was very interesting because we changed locations, complete locations, because of what had happened. A lot of the guests weren't able to make it because it was completely.
How far?
2 hours away for some people.
Oh,
yeah. We had to completely rearrange everything. Yeah, so we didn't have all the guests there that we wanted to, but we're going to meet up with them later on and have a dinner or something like that. But yeah, we understood, but it was pretty full on. It was really stressful.
What excuse can a venue have to pull out 3 hours before?
They didn't like how many guests were coming. So because we were having it at like a residence place, I guess you could say, but we're getting married on the premises, like on the land, because it's like country. Yeah. And that bit there was okay. They didn't like how many guests were actually going to be in the house. They thought that all the guests were going to stay and all this, and I'm like, no. But they just went, no, they didn't like that. They didn't feel comfortable with that. So I sort of went, okay, we could sort of go back and forth with this conversation, but I'm now running out of time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was like, okay, I'm just going to pull the pin now before I run out of time. So, yeah, a lot of ringing around and things like that, but we found one. An awesome one. It was a house that used to be a church.
Right. Whereabouts?
Beachmont.
Oh, Beachmont's gorgeous.
Yeah, so it was up on the hill. The photos are amazing. And the house is a church. And all the inside was still a church. Yeah. And we got married on the hill with overlooking the whole valley, and the owner was like, "Oh, we love weddings. They loved us all, and yeah, it was great." So we're going to have our anniversary there. So it worked out actually a lot better.
Yeah.
But it was really stressful, to be honest. Getting married was really
I
stressful.
just can't. Well, getting married and that happening, I just can't imagine it.
It was quite full on, but we got there. We got there in the end, and everyone said it was amazing.
Okay. So the way I actually started that question was, because you jumped in the middle of it, was it isn't too long ago that, as far as Australian law was concerned, you couldn't have married your wife.
Yeah, I think it changed on the 9th of January, and we got married on the 18th.
Okay, so you didn't muck around.
Well, I think we're the first lesbian couple. There was a gay couple that got married, I think, that night.
Yeah.
Midnight on the 9th, like the 8th into the 9th. I think they were the first gay ones, but I think we were, as our celebrant said, we're actually the first lesbian. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, really cool. I never even thought about that. Yeah, the first ones. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know how much truth there is into it, but yeah, I'm going to take it.
I'll take it
and run with it. Yeah.
But what a story! What a story!
Yeah.
To be able to tell for years and years and years to come.
Yeah. It was pretty full on. Yeah, random things that we do. So
married 3 weeks?
Married 3 weeks.
How's it going? You loving it?
Yeah, it's very different.
Different?
It's really different.
Describe that.
I think because for so long lesbians and gays couldn't get married, that we don't know how to be married. It sounds really weird. It's like...
It does.
Yeah, for me, marriage is a full stop, because why would you get married otherwise? This is like my mentality. And, you have to be 100% committed for me, blah, blah. But, with lesbians, we never had that, I don't know, it's pretty different. So when I got married, it's like, well, how do you be married? How do you, it was just different. For the first 2 days, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then it was like, oh my gosh, I'm married. Like, wow. I never thought I'd be a Mrs. Like, you're going to tick a different box now, which we never had to. Like, I'm a Mrs.
Yeah.
And to me, I just can't. I find that really strange, because you've never had to. It was.
So are you saying that it is something that you never thought would happen, therefore that's why it's so different? Or do you think this is something that every Mrs., lesbian or straight, goes through?
Well, I don't know about everyone else, because there's a lot of people, I guess, out there that really want to be married and really want to get married and really love the missus and can't wait.
Yep.
And so it becomes quite natural for them to do that. But for me, marriage was never on the cards for me. I never thought about it, because it could never happen. So I never thought about it. So I planned a life without being married.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now I'm married. It's like I have to remind myself that I'm married. And then, when it came to filling out a form and it had the Mrs., the Miss, the Mister and all this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a Mrs. like that. So I ticked Mrs. and it just, it felt really strange. It felt like it wasn't real. Yeah. So I don't know when it's going to really kick in that I'm actually married. I think maybe when or if I change my last name, because you're saying don't. But,
well, you don't. Oh, it's not like anyone has ever listened to me. But
it's changing the last name. Yeah, that's a big one too.
Yeah.
Because I've always been Jamison Sky, and like now there's a new signature. Like you got to write different. You got to write a new signature, and then you got to change like your license and your passport and all this, and it's all this, domino things. But then you got to write your different name. It's just wow.
Wow.
Yeah. It's. Yeah. So I'm not at that point yet. I'm not at that point yet.
Okay.
I will get there. I will get there. I will change my last name.
Okay, so in a lesbian couple, do you flick a coin to see who changes the last name?
Yeah, I don't know how that came about. I don't know how it came about that I was going to take her last name, but she's she's really famous. So,
right.
yeah, so it's just seemed more logical for me to take her last name because she is known who she is by her name. So it was just, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just the way it sort of happened.
So she just didn't have the option, basically.
Well, I think
is what you're
everyone,
saying.
well, you have options, but I think, being smart about it, it's like, well, she's built up her reputation of what she does for the last 15 years. Like, it'd be silly to change it now.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about why you're in this car.
Yeah.
You're in this car because you are a small business owner.
Yes.
Quite a successful one. You're a
you.
trainer and a teacher,
Yes.
and you teach vet nurses. And
Yes.
It's sort of a pretty big deal of a training organisation. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. And so that's so what I do is I go looking for people who are a bit impressive. Okay. Who's done stuff that normal people don't do.
Okay.
And I chat to them.
Yeah.
And I try and work out how they. You see, I believe everyone is hypnotising themselves every day. It's just that most of us are doing it the wrong way. And I think I have to go on to explain that a little bit more because I think that people are not understanding what I'm saying, because most people think hypnosis is like getting someone up on stage and making them cluck like a chicken. And
Yes.
that's fun, and it's good fun to do, but it's not the most important thing we do. The most important thing we do as hypnotists is use language and use communication to empower people, which basically is what you do as a teacher.
Yeah.
Okay? And yesterday I was with a whole room full of midwives, and that's what they do too. And it was a midwives conference, and why would a hypnotist be at a midwives conference? I have no idea, but that's where I was. And the whole day they were talking about empowering these women. And I'm thinking, oh, these are my people. Aren't they fabulous? Because it was a really big hypnotic conversation. So that's what I do. I'm trying to work out how you've managed to empower you so that I can help people do it even better. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you're here.
Okay.
Okay, and basically I'm just going to chat, and and I've got to try and work out what it is you're doing that's different. Okay, it's sort of
Okay.
like a test for me.
Okay.
So tell me about you.
About me?
Yeah.
About what I do?
No,
About who I am?
about who you are.
Who I am?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm very emotional. Not that I cry. I'm not really a crier, but I'm very up and down, up and down, up and down. Hot, cold, I'd say. I want everything now. But I don't know how to get it, but I want it.
Right. When you say everything.
I know, I mean, that's a big one because I keep changing my mind. And I know this is my problem. Because there's so many options. There's so many things. It's like a buffet. It's like when you go up to a buffet and you have these different foods, it's like, well, what do I really want? Because all of it tastes good. So I go, yes, I'm going to have the lobster. And then I go, no, I think I might have prawns. No, that looks really good. I might have that. And this is where my problem is. So I want the buffet, but I don't really know exactly what it is in the buffet that I want.
Right. Or maybe you want the whole lot.
The whole lot, yeah. Passionate, driven, ambitious. I'm very.
And this is what you say about yourself. What do other people say about you?
This is what I say about me.
Yep.
Yeah. I know that about me. I'm moody, apparently. Apparently. Demanding. My wife calls me a princess. I never thought of myself as a princess. Now that I think maybe she may be onto something, but yeah, I have high standards. Yeah, and I have high expectations of everybody, including myself. Yeah, but I see the potential in everything and everybody, and I get frustrated if people hold me back, or if wet blankets or raining on my parade type thing. Yeah, I'd say This is a nice area.
It is nice, isn't
I
it?
live in this area. I didn't know this existed.
Didn't you? You didn't know New Farm Park was here.
Oh, this is this way. I usually come the other way.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd say...
And this is from day one? This is from primary school, from 3 years old, from...
That I've been like
Yeah,
this?
from the day you started walking? Or did it appear?
I don't know
Or did
if
you
I was...
create it?
I don't know if I was consciously aware of it. I make things happen. Yeah, but it's strange. If I make things happen without, it's sort of like this. If I turn the water on the stove, if I watch it, waiting for it to boil, it either doesn't boil or like I give up or I walk away. But if I just turn it on, let the pot sit there and go and do something else, it will always bubble, type thing. So it'll always happen.
Yeah.
I think I focus on so much of wanting it to happen that I want it so much that I start doubting it will actually happen. And then I start seeing faults in it, going, it's not going to happen. I'm expecting it to happen. I have too many expectations. It's not going to happen. And then I give up. It's like that. I set myself up to fail, but if I just let it be, it always happens. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I moved up from Sydney to Queensland, when I was living in Sydney, I lived about an hour and a half away from work. So it was like a 3-hour drive every day. And then when I moved up to Queensland...
What was that, about 4 kilometres in Sydney traffic?
yeah. When I moved up to Queensland, I said to myself, never again am I going to drive that far. I want a job where it's close to work. That's what I want. And so at that time I didn't have a job. So I went and had a look at some places to rent, and I applied for a few places, and then that week I applied for a few jobs as well. And I got the house that I got offered, the one house. There was other houses, but they came in first, and I was like, whoever gives me the house first, I'll take, because I was couch surfing, so I'll just take the first house. So this real estate agent said, you can have this house, and I went, great. Then I got offered, I went to 3 job interviews, and I thought, the first one that gives me the job interview, I'm going to take. I needed a job, and they're all sort of the same industry.
Yep.
So this one job rang up and said, the job's yours. I went, excellent, I'm going to take it. So I took it. The house was 10 doors down from the job. 10 doors.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a bit closer than an hour and a half drive.
Yeah, and I was always late for work. Always late. But when I was driving an hour and a half, I was always early. So I was always late for work. But I put it out there to, I guess, to the universe. I want to be close to work. And I sort of left it.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to be 10 doors down. It's what I wanted. I wanted to be close to work, but I was never expecting 10 doors down. But that was just a bonus. So, yeah, it's because I sort of forgot about it. And it just sort of worked out in my favour. Yeah. The same with the businesses.
Businesses.
Yeah. There's quite a few.
Okay.
So with the workshops, that was the first one. That took off instantly. That was amazing. I don't think any of the businesses can beat that one. That one is amazing. And it took off within 4 days. It was through the roof. And then we had to put our fingers out and we didn't even have a website. It was crazy. And had to do all this work for it and things like that. And instantly I'm travelling to Perth and to Melbourne and to Sydney and doing all this stuff. So that took off really quite full on. Whereas the other one is successful, but it didn't have that fast impact like the first one. But my attitude towards both were completely different, which I find quite interesting. Whereas with the first one, it was like, yeah, okay, like that. So I didn't even have a plan, and it took off. And my business partner's like, well, now what? And I'm like, I don't actually know, because I didn't really actually think this through, because I didn't think anyone would want it. And all of a sudden, all the states are calling for it. So, yeah. So the workshops now are very different to what they were when I first started. But with the other one, with the school, the expectation was very different. There's a lot more riding on it, I guess. It's like we had students enroll straight away, but the response for the school and the workshops are very different towards each other, which is really interesting. And then we have the app as well. The app is actually doing quite well. I don't really have much to do with the app anymore. That's my business partner's. She works that out. It's got all the information there. I'm not needed very much now for the app. But that's just sort of doing well. And we have, what else do we have? We have reference books and things like that, and different books. So they're doing quite well. And yeah, and there's a job website that I think we might be selling that as well. And plus we've got the cruelty-free magazines and the cruelty-free website. So that one there is going really well as well. But yeah, so I'm looking at branching out into other businesses which are happening at the moment, which are looking quite good. So it'll happen probably maybe in about 3 months.
Okay.
3 months, yeah.
So you're speaking, how can I put this? You're saying to me very well, these are doing very well. Just to give us an idea as to what you mean by very well, can you expand on that, please?
Okay, so...
I don't want you to get your books out or anything like that. I don't want to do an audit or nothing. I think what it is, it's doing well. I mean, the workshops have been around for years now, so they're very easy for me. Yep.
You know, I'm not nervous. I'm great with public speaking. You know, the students fire questions at me. I've come across every question. You know, I've got a certain training technique. I'm confident. I'm 100% confident with the workshops. So I don't ever have to push the workshops at all because it's like if you want to come along, come along. If you don't, you don't. You know, it's got a 5-star rating. The students are very supportive. So it does well because I know the value of what I'm offering and you can't get anywhere else. So it goes well, and I'm always selling seats, always constant. Okay. And we don't have to sort of break a sweat with it.
So you are travelling the country?
Yes.
Doing a workshop a month, a workshop a week?
It depends. Last year I was everywhere. Last year was pretty full on. I was in every state twice, which I don't usually do. And this year I'm just doing it the once. So I'm off to Adelaide, South Australia, end of March.
Right.
And then after that it's Newcastle. And then I think after that is maybe Perth, Tasmania, Melbourne. I think that's how it goes. And in between Brisbane, in between all those.
And people come to you as well?
Yeah, I have people flying from different states to come to Brisbane as well. Yeah, or if I'm in Perth, they'll fly over from South Australia, or if I'm in Sydney, they'll fly up from Melbourne. It really depends on if they can wait or not.
Okay, cool. So what now? You say in 3 months there's something else coming.
Yeah.
For you. Let's not talk so much about business. Let's talk about you.
Okay, great.
What now?
What now?
What next?
With business, not business.
No.
Oh gosh, business is all I talk about. Me, like what now with me?
Yeah.
Like on a sort of, on like a personal level? Do you mean like?
Well, that's up to you. I'm.
Wow. Okay. What now? I don't even know if I can answer that question. That's a really hard question. There's so many things happening in my life. Like I think around May, June, we're moving house, but we're at a sort of a standstill of where we want to live. It's where I really want to live.
She got the name. You should get the house. Right?
Yeah, but it's sort of like, it's like I want to live in a certain place, but realistically, it just wouldn't work. Like with her work and my work, I think we might shoot ourselves in the foot with it, you know.
Right.
But I'd love that certain area. So at the moment, it's like, let's find an area in Brisbane that's really like that, you know. So that's where we're like, do we do acreage? Do we do new farm? Do we do, you know, so we're throwing all that around, and we just go around in complete circles, and it's like, we'll shelve that. We'll come back to it later when it gets closer. And we're back online looking. So that's taking up all our time. And that's when I feel like at the moment that a lot of things are at a standstill until that we do that move, because depending on where we move, then I can, I've got to relocate to the training centre, and we're setting up a different thing, and things like that. So everything sort of where I move, I've got to think of the students. Of is it going to be easy for everybody to get to, and things like that. So that's what's happening at the moment. It's nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really boring actually. It's quite boring now.
Is it? Sorry, I didn't mean that to happen.
I'm looking at it, thinking about going, yeah. It's not frustrating. It's just we've got to choose the right place. It's just and everything's sort of up in the air. It's like, we could do acreage, because that means I can have like the horses, and we can do nurse training on the horses and things like that, which is great. But then we think, well, just say we don't do the horses, and then we're stuck with this acreage that we really don't need. So it's like this.
Are you doing training with horses at the moment?
We were in Byron Bay, but I want to. It's too inconvenient with the location, because it's not Byron Bay. It's right at the back. It's really hard to get to, and I wanted something that was a little bit more appealing to the students, a little bit more easy to get to.
Yep.
So that's where we're sort of at the moment. It's like, do we do the north side? Do we move the south side? It's like that. It's just crazy. So
you see, so you've moved to Brisbane from somewhere else.
From Sydney,
and your wife?
She's a Queenslander.
She's a Queenslander, because I was going to say, if you were from Brisbane, there'd be no decision north or south side. You are either born and live on the south side, or you are born and live on the north side.
True.
It makes life so much easier.
And she's lived both. But if she had her choice, she would live the Gold Coast. She loves the Gold Coast. That's her choice. I'm pretty easy. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can live anywhere. If I had a choice, I'd live in Brunswick Heads.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Love it.
Love it. I'm in love with that place. I would live there, but
Is your business, both of your businesses, in a situation where you can virtually live wherever you want to?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much?
Pretty much, yeah. But I've got to keep in mind of how the students can get to me. Although I can rent out other places, I can rent out places in Brisbane where I can come and set things up so the students can still be in Brisbane, and I can sort of live anywhere.
Yep.
But she's a DJ, so she travels everywhere. So she can actually live anywhere as well. So this is where we're at.
This is where we're at.
This is where we're at.
Okay. So let's talk about why you're the most famous person that's been on my show so far.
Yeah.
So you're on TV.
Oh yes, and on radio. Yeah,
you're on radio too. That's right. You're on radio.
Yeah, I have my own radio show. Yeah, I have my own radio show. So I wouldn't say I was that famous.
But tell us what show you're on TV.
Well, I do get filmed for Border Security.
Oh, Border Security.
Yeah, Border Security.
And what do you do for Border Security?
Well, when passengers come through, they get screened.
You were supposed to say I'm a dog handler.
Well, I was going to that. I'm a dog handler. I work with the dogs. Yes. So they get screened, and then like when you go through and you hand in your passport and stuff. So and then they get passengers get screened by dog detectors.
So
and there's different dogs for different things. So
is there? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How many different types of dogs are there?
Well, there used to be. They used to have beagles. Changed to Labradors, and some of the labs get trained for money, cigarettes, narcotics, bombs, things like that, and the others get trained for different foods. Plants, seeds, meets and like read articles like that. So they get trained for different things.
So how often are you on TV?
I haven't actually. I've been filmed a few times, but I've never actually watched the show. I feel like I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I have no interest. And my wife's not allowed to watch it. Nobody's allowed to watch it. I don't. So,
That's so funny.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's really funny because I love getting filmed and all this, but when it comes down to it, it's like, yeah, but no one can watch it. No one watch it. I can't look at myself. Yeah, it's years ago. I did a lot of modelling years ago, and I did this photo shoot. It was a really big one, and I was moving to England maybe about 4 days later, and I did this big photo shoot. Went to England, and about 8 months later, I came back, and I was sitting at the bus stop, and it was about 11 o'clock at night, and I think I would have been back for about a week. And this bus pulls up, and there's me on the side of a bus, and I looked at it, and I went, what the hell? And because I never saw the end result, I just had this shoot, and then I had to go. And I went, oh my God. And they launched it as soon as I got back. It's just coincidence. And I was everywhere. I was up on billboards, and I was on buses and trucks and bus stops, and everyone's like, oh, you're the girl, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Yeah, it was, I get pretty embarrassed by it, to be honest. But I love doing it.
Yeah.
But I get embarrassed by it. I don't know.
So we've reached that point of the show, of my show, that I try and work out what it is that's making you different.
Okay.
And there's an incredible casual you. Okay. You talk about your businesses so casually. You talk the way you said that you're like the boiling water, and you just leave it to boil and walk away. That's so much a part of you that it's something that I'm going, oh wow, that's interesting, because you know that the work will get done, and you know that you'll just do the work, and you know that when you set something in motion, it will happen, and that's interesting in that way. Also, we had some correspondence because you want me to work on one of your workshops with you.
Yeah.
We spoke there one day, and within 2 hours you'd come back to me and said, look, all the emails have been sent out and all of that sort of stuff, and now we'll just wait and see how many people are interested. And that simple task of sending out the emails to whoever is one of the hardest things that many business people have to do. They just, for some reason, procrastinate.
With the emails, it's so easy.
Really procrastinate about doing that.
Oh wow!
You know,
okay.
and so yes, your business sense seems to just be a part of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Often in the show, the people I talk to say that having the people around them is a big part of it. You haven't come across with that at all today. You've just got a total confidence in yourself, and it's exciting to see. But I don't know what I can take from it to help other people, because it seems to be born in you, and it's so cool. It really is
right,
cool.
okay.
Yeah. So that hasn't helped much at all, has it? Yeah. So we've come to a fork in the road, and metaphorically as well as the fact that we've actually come to a fork in the road.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's not often you actually see a fork, is it? You know?
No,
but
it's
I
not.
use that term every week.
No, but I have had a lot of businesses that have failed.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I mean I just had one that I closed down, and because it wasn't reaching certain heights, it wasn't generating X amount at an allocated time, and so I'm like, okay, what do I do with this? Yeah. And I close it down, move on. So you have to be a business owner, you have to know when to try and revive something, when to really sort of put more effort and energy into it, or when to cut your losses and move on onto something else.
Yep.
Because otherwise you could be wasting your time on something. But I'm a firm believer that when you start a business, you start in the playing field where you have some kind of experience and some kind of knowledge or know-how within that playing field, because things become...
So all of your businesses have been based around your own specific skills?
Well, the workshop started first, so that was veterinary, and then after that, the cruelty-free. We started with a clothing company. We started with a clothing company, and then we ended up styling for Home and Away and Neighbours and all that. And then from there, we branched out, and we had magazines, and we had modelling agency, and we did runway, and we did all this filming. It was pretty full on, but that wasn't my area, and we had no idea what we were doing. We were sort of learned as we went along, and we had no idea about business. We made heaps of mistakes, huge mistakes, and looking back, I was just like, if I did things differently because of what I know now, things would be very, very different. But we didn't. But we took all our mistakes and we brought it to the next business.
Okay, so there's one thing there, is the fact that you don't look at your mistakes as failures, you look at them as something else. What do you look at them as?
Oh, and learning. Because I didn't go to business school, so I'm learning as I go. So then we started with the workshop. So the next one was the workshops. And because I was already a vet nurse, I was already in my own playing field. Mm-hmm. So I found it very, very easy. So all the things that tripped up with the clothing company, all the mistakes we made there, I made sure that the path was clear of those mistakes when we ventured down that road. Mm-hmm. And when we saw like a hole in the road, we sort of stopped and went, okay, there's a hole, instead of just falling into it like we did last business. We were a bit more strategic about it, and okay, how do we get across this and how do we go around this, instead of just falling straight in and crying about it. So that's, I think business-wise, the workshops took off. And then after that came the app. And then we did the app because why not? There was that kind of mentality. Yeah, let's just do an app, why not? So we did it. And then came the school, so we started that one as well, and we had in between there we had the job board, the veterinary job board as well. So it was all veterinary related.
Except for your first business, which was a clothing line.
Yeah, I'm a vet nurse. I don't know what I was doing with clothing. I have no passion about clothes either. Right. It wasn't like I love working with animals, but secretly I want to be a fashion designer. I have no idea about clothes. So yeah, it was not that it was going to fail. It was just a very hard road because we had no idea what we were doing. So just learn how to cut your losses, and it's not a failure. You're being very smart about it. Being a silly business owner is, watering something and it's completely dead. So that's just wasting time, money, resources, and everything. That's not going to go anywhere. So you have to have a think about it, and then cut your losses, and then go on to something else. But learn from it. I learned from that one. I didn't do enough groundwork. I missed about 5 key points in between this point and that point. So looking back, if I looked at it, I wouldn't have started in the first place. Because when I looked at these key points, I'm like, I don't have that. How long is it going to take me to get that and that? What is my competition like? How much am I going to get back from it? It's not going to be worth it for me. Maybe someone else it would be worth it, because it could be their playing field. This wasn't my playing field. So it could be their playing field, and they could have a completely different result. It's really different when you start a business in your own playing field, because you have so many contacts. You know the ins and outs of it. So it's very different.
Okay. So with the fashion business, what happened to it?
Well, what happened to it? It got too big too fast. That's how it all sort of, and it couldn't hold the weight. It was too much, and it was very, very demanding. And also because we really didn't know what we were doing, we didn't have the confidence. We just didn't. It was just ridiculous. It was sort of like we were trying to run before we could learn how to crawl. It was, and it just sort of at the end of the day, I had to make a decision. Oh, and I also had a pet sitting business as well. I forgot about that one. And I had to make a decision at the end of the day. It's like, do I keep going or do I put a pin? And I went, I'm pulling the pin. And we've still got it, but we don't have the clothing company anymore. We've got the cruelty-free brand, so it's a website now, which I really like, so I enjoy that. So we downscaled it a lot. But I pulled the pin, and then I went straight to the pet sitting. So I started a pet sitting business, and that was amazing. That went through the roof instantly. That was a good one, because I'm back in my own playing field.
Yeah.
So it's very different. And because I was just doing cats, and cats are my passion actually made the bookings because I'm so passionate about cats.
Yeah.
So the owners would
you
see.
can tell straight away if someone is.
Yeah. So the owners would see
Because
me with
no
their
one would leave their
cats.
cat with me.
Yeah, yeah. The owners would see what I'm like with their cats because I cuddle them and I kiss them and I just love them and all this. They're like, and I send them photos and I'm really into it.
Yeah.
Because I have my own cats, and they're happy to leave me with their cats. So the business went through the roof. That was pretty good, that one. Yeah, and then that's how the vet nursing I think started. Through that way there, because I advertised the workshops through the pet sitting page because I didn't even have a website, and I was meant to show a couple of nurses, and I said to a couple of trainees, "Oh, I'll just train you, doing some procedures and stuff like that, and I'll put it up on the pet website." And then all of a sudden, like 4 days later, my business partner's like, "Oh, I've been getting these notifications from PayPal saying like, we're getting sales on something." She says, "I don't know what it is." Like this. And I said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "I've just got a couple of students that have booked tickets because I'm doing this workshop, I'm training them." I said, "Look, it's just a couple." And she said, "No, there's more than a couple." And I'm like, "How many?" Because I only told 2. I said, "So how many?" She said, "Well, so far it's up to 15. And I'm like, "Oh my God, stop it like this." So she stopped it, and that's when she's like, "Well, now what?" I'm like, "I don't actually
Where's
know.
the full workshop?
I have no idea. I don't know where I'm going to hold it. I don't know where I'm going to train." I had no idea because it's only meant to be 2.
Yeah.
2's easy. Have a chat, And then it became this full-on, people flying in from Canberra and stuff. It became this full-on workshop, and that's how it started. And it just didn't stop. It just went crazy. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, so it is what it is, but yeah, so. But the new businesses that I'm doing is out of my playing field. So I'm going to try it again.
All right. Well, you've got a lot more business experience now, haven't you?
True. Yeah, true.
Do you want to tell me what you're moving into?
No, I can't say it at the moment. No, I can't say it. So
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
You look a little bit excited for it too.
Yeah, because it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool. I mean, chopping and changing a few things. So, but I think it's shaping up to be quite cool. So it'll be in about 3 months, I'd say.
Excellent.
Yeah. See how I go with it and then go from there. Yeah, but it's going to be cool.
So to wind this up, because we have to, because I could keep talking to you for hours.
Oh,
you are
thank you.
great fun to talk to.
Thanks.
And your excitement, that's yeah. I
love
actually
talking business.
came to this today feeling a little bit down. And I was saying
Why
to
is
myself,
that?
I don't know. I actually don't know. But I'm saying to myself on the way here, for God's sake, with what you do, you should be able to change your state and turn yourself into someone a little bit more excited than you are right at this moment. But you've totally gone that's gone. That's so far in the past. No, your excitement is infectious, and thank you.
Oh, that's
I
okay.
really appreciate you doing that for me.
That's okay.
Now, do you want to tell people about if they want to, if there's someone out there that needs your help?
If there's people that want to do vet nursing, or if they're just interested in animals.
So what type of course workshops do you teach?
Yeah, so the workshops are all veterinary related. So you get trained because I have simulators.
Right.
So you get trained on how to place catheters, how to put in ET tubes, how to get blood from jugulars, urinalysis, all things like that. So it's all pretty hands-on. Plus you do a lot of theory as well.
Right.
The courses themselves are all veterinary industry related. So you have certificates and things like that in veterinary nursing, but you can do single unit. So if you just like lizards, you can learn about lizards, or you can learn about captive animals. I also have a psychology section as well and a business section. So you can learn, you can start up a business, like a business through that. So there's all single courses you can do as well.
Okay, and the name of your school?
The workshops is traineeveterinurseworkshops.com, and the school is tvnacademy.com.au.
Cool. And that's all they need to do. Go there,
Yeah.
sign up, learn
and
how to
email me.
take blood from
Yeah.
cows and cathetise.
Yeah, catheterize.
Now,
yeah.
is that the same in vet as it is in people? Are we talking?
No. No.
See, I've been thinking the whole time. Every time
No,
you've
it's
said
different.
cathetise,
Yeah,
I've
it's
been
different.
yeah.
It's different because my business partner is actually dating a human nurse.
Right.
So the talk between her and I is very different.
Mm.
She's like, oh, that's weird. Because the word catheter for her is very different to the word catheter for me.
Yep.
So, yeah, they call things different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Again, thank you.
That's all
I've had a
right.
great time today. And look at the screen now and say, if you'd like to see the entire show,
Oh, okay, now.
Yeah.
If you'd like to see the entire show,
go to outbackhypnosis.com.
go to outbackhypnosis.com.
Thank you.
It's okay.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.